Hey, you know what was funny? When we were watching The Bachelor last week, we made the same observation, which was that how crazy The Bachelor is.
Yeah, bro, I don't get that fucking show at all. And I was getting so angry at Natalie for liking it. Like, listen,
But wait, this is why it's crazy, right? No other on the show, the guy goes and he makes out with 6 different girls, has sex with all of them.
Yeah.
And the entire country's like, oh yeah, it's
what
fine.
do you mean no?
It's so crazy.
It's not.
He doesn't have sex with
because
them.
if we have
What are you
a friend.
talking about?
He doesn't have sex with all of them.
Oh yes, they do. They go to at the end of the show that he has sex with but when it gets down to the 3 of them, they all have sex.
That's in the show. Imagine what he's doing. He probably has all those girls' numbers, and every night he has a new girl over. There's no way.
Wait, what are you talking about? Like on the actual season or after this show is over?
During the show.
During the show. When they're all
they don't have phones on the show.
The point is,
what do you mean?
They don't have phones on the show.
What are you talking about?
They don't have a phone on the show. They're not allowed to have phones while they're on the show. For that like 5-6 weeks, whatever that they're filming, they are not allowed to have cell phones.
The part that's like really bizarre about it, how this dude is making out with like 15 different girls, and he's literally building like serious relationships.
And in real life, and the point is, in real life, if a guy were to do that, if a friend of yours, or a friend of ours were to do that, that is so disgusting.
Right.
And yet every week,
like
every woman watches that show. Like,
if I went on a date with a girl tonight, and then I went out with a girl tomorrow night, the girl tonight found out about the girl tomorrow night, it'd be hell on earth.
But in The Bachelor, it's fucking whore city. It's
It's
literally a brothel.
Yes, it is.
It's a brothel on TV.
It's just it's very interesting.
It is very provocative, and it didn't originate that way.
I do like it. I'm not saying
I
love
love
the show.
The Bachelor.
I fucking love The Bachelor.
Let me say it. It's one of my favorite shows.
Probably the best show on TV.
Especially for the reason because it is so like fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like this dude is literally hooking up with 16 girls, and it's like the craziest part is like the girls will come back and they'll all be talking, and they'll be like, "Hope we find our Prince Charming here," when they're all after the same fucking guy.
Yeah. I know.
Like that's so crazy.
That is crazy to me. It's crazy to me that they even form like friendships or bonds within themselves when they're all going for the same man and wanting like to get the same thing. I'm just like, how are you friends with that person? Like I'd be like, fuck no, get out of my face.
And then let's say I ended up winning the show.
You'd be that person on the show.
I would love to see the kind of person I would be on a show like that. It'd be
you
very
just told
interesting.
us. You just told us what kind of person you'd be. He's like, I'm here for David and no one else.
No, listen, and then let's say I won the show, right? Out of all the guys, the girl chooses me.
Sure.
And then we're living happily ever after. 2 months in, 2 weeks into our marriage.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, yo, what the fuck were you doing taking so long? What were you doing? Why didn't you just? You were making out with Lindsay. You took her to the boat and not me. Like I'd be fucking livid.
Oh yeah.
And I'd be watching these episodes back and be like, what the fuck?
Well, that's why the majority of those relationships don't actually work out. There's like only 3 in the history of the Bachelor franchise that people are actually in successful relationships.
Sure. Follow-up question. Could I be the Bachelor? Is there any way I can do that?
If that's what you're trying to do.
I would love to be on that show. I think it'd be so fun.
Obviously, it's fun. It's everyone's dream, right? Maybe not everyone's
You'd
dream
never
per
do
se.
that show.
No,
You're so full of it.
I'm not even saying like, oh, I'd love to hook up with 35 women. I'm just saying I think it's like the most fun idea of like I love people finding relationships. Like I love that idea, and I think it's just so funny. And there's so many. What did you think when Natalie asked me to the dance? Did you think she was making a mistake, or was it a great idea? This was, I think, junior year.
2010.
Okay.
So
What?
So
I don't fucking know.
It's freshman year.
I have the worst memory.
you
Freshman
know
year,
how
who cares?
like when you go to make a decision, you always run it by Natalie.
Yeah.
So when Natalie goes to make a decision, she always runs it by me.
Oh, okay.
We had a conversation about her asking you, and
Thought we did. I don't remember this.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I never knew this.
so well, it was turnabout. It was the first turnabout, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the first dance where the girl asked the boy.
Girl
Yeah.
asked the boy, and
And I didn't want to be the only girl that didn't go to the
she
dance.
didn't want to go to the
Oh, come on.
dance.
Sorry, I mean I love David so much.
Well, no, she wanted to go to the dance, but she wasn't like
Low hanging fruit over
she
here.
didn't have a boyfriend. She wasn't boy crazy, whatever. And
This other guy just
so we
like
were
he already
talking,
had a
and I was
date.
like, "What about David? Like, you guys are really good friends." And
Oh, so you brought
know.
up the idea.
I might have.
Okay, and then how did she react?
She was nervous, asking a boy, and then we were coming up with how to ask you because we had to do it in some goofy way.
Right.
Wow.
And summer we have a video of it actually
I
going
know.
down.
I want to
but
find
Yeah,
the
where
video.
the fuck is it?
It's in the storage unit.
Is
Because
this
remember,
is
I
this
live in
the
a
dance
trailer.
where she left you to go dance with everybody else?
Only dance I've ever been to was the dance with Natalie.
It was the worst.
Oh my God, I can't tell you.
Well,
like-
why didn't you ask someone to prom?
I don't care. I hated it. Even going back, everyone was always like, "Oh, you're gonna."
You love school. I don't believe this. This doesn't
I
match
know.
up at all.
I know
David.
it doesn't match up, but I just don't like that. Like, I don't like dressing up. I never liked it. The reason I hated dances, like the ultimate reason I hated dances, was because all the parents would come together and take pictures of the kids before they would go out to the dance.
yeah.
And that part fucking terrified me of
Why?
me being dressed up and my dad being a photographer, knowing that my dad would be at all the shoots, photographing all these kids.
Oh, that's why.
It fucking like terrified me. So I was like, I'm not going to any dance. And everyone was always like, you're gonna be really bummed out. You're missing prom. Like, this is like a life changing thing. I was like, no. I've never opted out of something in high school that I've regretted. Biggest things that I heard growing up is you're gonna regret this. You're gonna regret this. You're gonna regret this. There's not a single thing that I didn't do or did do in high school that I regret. I have zero regrets.
Sure, I believe that. I believe
Yeah.
you. But this was, you didn't like the way you looked?
No,
in all dressed up?
Like just now, like I don't like dressing up now. I just get so uncomfortable.
Great. You go to fancy things all the time. You get dressed up.
I know, but I don't like dressing up.
Really?
Natalie knows what.
So it's because your dad was a photographer too?
No, I just didn't like dances. There was like so much pressure on it that I was just like I'd rather not have to do that. So I just didn't do it. Like I was scared of everything. Like I was scared of like the interaction, like the dancing with a girl. I was like, "Oh my God, that's
Right.
like every step of the way of a dance for me was like just I was just completely anxious. I was like, oh,
I gotcha.
why do it if I don't want to do it?"
Yeah.
Regardless, I went to dance with Natalie and it was the best day of my life.
Oh.
Just kidding.
David loves to wrap up podcast stories with the word regardless.
Regardless.
Regardless. Hey, did you hear about this Houston Astros controversy?
No, what's happening?
Okay, so
Oh, they're cheating, right?
yeah, in 2017 they won the World Series,
Oh shit.
and now some guy who was like a player on the team, he's not on the team anymore. He's being interviewed. He starts talking about the World Series. He goes, "Well, we stole signs. We basically
We cheated.
Yeah, we cheated.
Oh wow.
And they had this really elaborate sign stealing thing, and now that manager of the Astros is now the manager of the Red Sox, and he's gonna get fired. You know what I mean by stealing signs, right?
Yeah, like they know.
So like a catcher will give you like a 1 and a 2 is fastball,
yeah.
3 is curve or whatever.
Yeah.
So the players would have a thing on their chest that would buzz. So the guy would steal the sign and they'd be like, okay, it's a fastball, and then they'd be like, zzz, so they'd know a fastball's coming.
Yeah, they'd buzz them in like it was like Morse code or something.
Right.
And that's how they were cheating.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Is this confirmed or is it still a rumor? You're just gonna it's confirmed.
No, I think it's pretty confirmed.
Jason just goes, yeah, I'm gonna go with confirmed on this one, Dave. Us
It's an interesting story.
us and news stories.
Why does
Why does it matter?
it's cheating, I guess.
No, I know, but you know what? I know what you mean.
a huge
Like,
thing
why
to
does
steal
that
a sign.
matter?
Right.
Because
You should be able to do whatever you can to, like, yeah. Why is that cheating?
what are you talking about?
Well, tell me.
You're stealing a sign.
So what?
That's like
If I can figure out what you're gonna do.
you're using fucking electronics.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Oh, right, the electronics part. You're right.
Yeah,
That's the
what are
part
you
that's
talking
fucking-
about?
But if I could.
So the
right.
person that was
Oh yeah,
stealing
the
the sign-
electronics. That's the big. You're right. That's the worst part of it.
if the person that was stealing a sign was from their team and they just translated, like they understood what the other team was doing, or is it somebody from that actual team was telling this team?
No, it's like David's up at bat and I'm pitching, right?
Yeah, they translated the signs and then they fed it to the guy.
Jen's the catcher.
No.
Jen's the catcher. I'm the pitcher, right?
You guys are on the same team.
We're on the same team. Speaking of signs, I think it's a sign that you're here tonight.
Put your
sorry.
take your hand off her thigh.